Hi guys, as promised, I am going to do the fixing of American Girl Elizabeth's hair. So I've got Elizabeth here. She is a Valentine's Day present for my daughter. So she will have only 2 friends missing now. She just needs Ruthie and Nellie, and she has all the historical friend dolls. She currently has Ivy and Emily, which Ivy is Julie's best friend. Emily is Molly's best friend. This is Elizabeth, who is Felicity's best friend. So she just needs 2 more friend dolls. Like I said, Ruthie and Nellie. And she will have all the friend dolls. And then we will have all the current historical dolls. We have all the main historical dolls. We just are missing some of the friends. I got her at a deal. She's in decent shape. I do need to clean her up with some magic eraser. So she did come with her dress and her under. These are Felicity and Elizabeth's underwear, are this shift thing. I need to contact the seller again. I had been, and she replied back, and then she said she was going to get me pictures and didn't. So in the pictures, Elizabeth had her shoes on when I bought her, because I got her off Marketplace. And when I went to pick her up, my son was with, so I wasn't able to clearly look well because it was a porch pickup. And so I just grabbed the bag. I saw she was in there. I saw she was in her dress, but didn't notice her shoes weren't on. So I've been trying to get a hold of the seller to get the shoes because the shoes were in the picture. So anyways, her hair is in okay shape. It's a little dry, and it's a little frizzed. You can tell she's been dry brushed. Not to the point that horse we got. So I'm going to go ahead and mist her hair. And then I am going to wet brush her hair with an American Girl wire wig brush. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I will go ahead and flat iron her hair like I did the horse. I've got my little flat iron here again. My mini one. I had a few people ask questions about that flat iron, or this flat iron. It only has 1 heat setting. I know that they recommend you use it on low. Well, this only has 1 heat setting on it, so it is what it is. I'm not exactly sure the temperature of it, but as you saw when I did the horse's hair, I really soaked the hair. I made sure the hair was nice and wet before I even ran the straightener on it. And then I went quickly. I did not, I know some people will like slowly go down. I did not. I went down quickly, sprayed it again, went down quickly. So I make sure to not singe the hair. So I know that Elizabeth has pin curls. I thought about putting them back in. I'm going to try to restore her hair to her original hairstyle minus the pin curls. And the reason behind that is I've looked up how to do her pin curls. And if this was a non-playing doll, I would do the pin curls right now. In all honesty, a lot of my daughter's dolls, we go into, especially buying them used, the idea to let her play with them. And then once she's done playing with them, we will go ahead and start replacing heads depending upon the shape the head is in. Now, some of her dolls, their heads are in really good shape still. I mean, she's 10 years old, so she's still got a lot of playability, but she's getting better at keeping them. But then there's some like that Lainey doll that she had, where she just got, Lainey has curly hair. My daughter got a little overzealous with the brushing. The wig wasn't the best to begin with, but kind of brushed a lot of the hair out of the wig. So there are a few other dolls like that for my daughter. But then in the other instance, hopefully it stays this way, I can also take her to the American Girl store to get her hair put back in her original hairstyle, including the pin curl. Which, in all honesty, I think I might end up doing next time we go to the American Girl store, instead of getting the head replaced. It's very frustrating because more and more American Girl stores are closing. Last year, Denver closed, Kansas City closed, and technically it's Overland Park, but that's near Kansas City. Kansas City closed, and Atlanta, Georgia closed. As well as Scottsdale, I believe, closed as well. And then Scottsdale, Arizona, those 4 I do believe never opened up after COVID. I know for sure the 3, I believe Scottsdale was on there as well. They've already announced, I know that by the time you guys see this video, it'll already be closed. They just announced that they are also going to be closing the Seattle store. So it seems as leases are coming up, they're closing stores. Now, the rumor has it they're going to close all stores except for the 3 flagship stores. The flagship stores, for those that don't know, sorry guys, I need to find, like I said, I want to do her hair on the original hairstyle. I have a hair tie over here, so I need to find it. The original store is Chicago. That is the original store. Then there is, okay, just to show you, here is her original hairstyle that I'm going to attempt to do. Chicago is the actual first store that American Girl opened, then New York, and then LA. So those are the 3 flagship stores. Although I've heard rumors, I'm not sure if they're true, that one of the Texas stores is going to become a flagship store as well. Like I said, I am not sure of that. These are just rumors I've heard through the grapevine. I can say that the last time we were in Dallas, I noticed there was a personal shopper. So I'm hoping that's a good sign that they brought the personal shopper back to Dallas. Because back when they closed the Mall of America, American Girl store, they got rid of personal shoppers in all stores except for New York, Chicago, and LA. And so they got rid of personal, I mean, obviously they closed the American Girl store in Minneapolis. Or wait, they got rid of personal shoppers before that. Minneapolis got to keep theirs. And I think that was because they were planning to close the Minneapolis store anyways. So Minneapolis got to keep. See that smoke is the water burning off. It's not the hair burning. And this is how I'm going fast. But Minneapolis got to keep their personal shoppers. So that's why people thought Minneapolis was safe, because they got to keep, well then they went ahead and kind of surprised everybody with, no, we're closing them too. Or we're closing them. I think they were one of the first to close. I think it was Mall of America. St. Louis, Missouri had one as well. They closed. And I think there was one other store that closed that year. What year was, I think that was 2018. Or was it it was 18 or 19 that closed. And so the only stores that had personal shoppers then after that were the 3 flagship stores after Mall of America closed. But like I said, I noticed when we were at Kira's, or when I went to book the hair, or to get one of the doll's ears pierced, which I ended up getting. I was going to get Lily's ears pierced, but I ended up getting her hair done instead. When I went to book that, I noticed that they had booked an appointment. I could have booked an appointment with, it looked like a personal shopper again at that store. So I'm hoping that's a good sign that they plan on keeping, Dallas open. Now, I loved Houston. When we went to Houston, it was a beautiful store. It's in a beautiful mall. I mean, I can't really say much about the mall for Dallas because the Dallas store is a standalone store. I believe it's kind of an outdoor type mall that it's in. It's not a traditional indoor mall. Down here in Texas, there's a lot of outdoor malls. Like the high-end malls are actually more outdoorsy malls. Like the Domain in Austin. And while the Houston store is in an actual closed mall, so to speak. Indoor mall, I guess you can call it, like I said. So Houston is in an indoor mall where Dallas is... The stores, some of the stores are connected, but for the most part, they're just like standalone stores. So, I wonder if that has a little to do with it. Because it seems like the ones that are being closed, like I'm not 100% sure about Scottsdale. I believe Denver was in actual mall, I believe. Or I know that Kansas City was in an indoor mall. Because my husband had gone to that one in the past to pick up some stuff for my kids. My husband's job, their training was near that American Girl store. So when he had gone to training a few times, he would usually rent a He would usually rent a car when he would go to the training because he could take the shuttles for the hotel, but he said it was just such a pain. The first time he went to a training for his job there, he just did the shuttle thing, and he said it was a big pain in the butt. The second time he went, it was a group of them from his work that went, so they all pooled together and actually just rented a van. And then, sorry guys, here's somebody outside. Then the next couple times it was just him and a few other guys, so they would rent a car. They would, he would usually end up being the one to rent the car, and then the other guys would pay cash. And it wasn't, they did stuff other than just go to work. They actually went to St. Louis, or not St. Louis. They went to a Kansas City, I believe, baseball game and a football game. And not at the same time, but at different times. So they did stuff after. Training was usually like 9 to 5 training. And then they would have like the nights off, and they would have to be there for, depending upon the training they were at, they would have to be there for 2 to 3 weeks. So they'd have the weekends off, and then they would have the nights and off. So, I mean, obviously they needed to kind of keep entertained. So usually what they would do is, there was, I believe, a Dave & Buster's not far from the American Girl store, the mall the American Girl store was in. And he typically, since the car was under his name, he was usually the driver. What they would do is they were going to go to supper at Dave & Buster's. So he would be like, hey guys, I know we're going to go here for supper. I need to stop at the store. And it's typically the same guys he would travel with. So they kind of already knew the drill. Like the Friday, they usually have to fly out like a Sunday because training would start Monday. And then that following weekend on like Friday night was usually when they'd go to Dave & Buster's. And they kind of knew the drill that my husband wanted to go to stop at the store since they were kind of over by there. And they would go stop at the store. The one time he got my daughter's doll's hair done in the salon. Another time he picked up different outfits for them. Like usually, that time he actually took my daughter's doll with, but typically he would just pick up gifts for them. You know, like when parents travel, they usually pick up a little gift for their child when they get home. So that's what he would do instead of like grabbing something at the airport, just kind of random stuff. He would actually get something that he knew they would enjoy. And so that's how I know that one was in an actual mall, because he went to that one. But yeah, so I'm hoping, or getting back to what I was saying, well, I love the Houston store. It's a beautiful store. It's in a beautiful mall. I hope that we can get back there. If they end up closing that store, get back there before they close at least one more time, because like I said, it was a beautiful store. But I have a feeling it's going to close before Dallas would. When we went to that one, we went over spring break. And for those that don't know, fair, like 4-H fair, FFA fair is a big culture down here in Texas. My kids are actually involved in it down here. But there is a major stock show, which what 4-H and FFA are, stock. Like barnyard stock animals. There is a huge stock show in Houston. And when we went, the stock show was going on, which I know people are busy with the stock show and whatnot, but and it was during spring break as well. Like we went to the Children's Museum, and the Children's Museum was busy. But when we went to the mall to go to American Girl, well, the mall itself was busy. That American Girl store was not. We didn't make any reservations to eat there, but when we got there, the kids had started asking my husband if we could eat there, and my husband was like, okay. And so I went up to the hostess at the bistro, and I'm like, hey, I know I didn't make a reservation to eat here, but is there any way possible we can eat lunch? And the lady's like, give me 10 minutes. She's like, yeah. So we were purchasing stuff. I went over to the counter to purchase what we were buying. By the time we were done with the purchase and went back over to the bistro, they were ready for us. There was only one other party there. That was a mom and a little girl that were eating at the time we did. And by the time we left, there was one other party that came in. And they didn't have reservations either. They, kind of like us, were a fly by the seat of our pants and came in and asked if it was possible for us to get a table. And that was a mom, a grandma, and a little girl. So the bistro wasn't that busy. We got to the American Girl store when it opened that day. And even in the store, like we got there, I believe it opened at 10 o'clock. We were there till like 1 o'clock between shopping around, eating, and everything else. So we were there quite a while. And it wasn't that busy at all. Like there was maybe, I would say 50 people at most. And that's from the time we got there to the time we left in the store. So they were definitely not busy. And I know we went on a Wednesday. We went on a Wednesday on purpose because we knew it would be slower. But the mall itself was busy. My son and I walked over to Build-A-Bear because he wanted to walk around. My daughter did not want to walk around. My husband did not want to walk around. So my son I noticed there was a Super Target in this mall. So I kind of wanted to go over to the Target, and I just kind of wanted to explore the mall a little bit. So like there was a Baby Gap in there, so my son and I walked over there. And like I said, we found Build-A-Bear because he asked to go to Build-A-Bear. While my son has American Girls and loves American Girls, he wanted to go to Build-A-Bear to see what they had. So we went off, him and I walked over to Build-A-Bear, and he got a Pokemon Build-A-Bear. So he was excited about that. But the mall itself was pretty busy. But the American Girl store, from the time that we went there, was not busy itself. So that's where I was kind of, you know, kind of what's going on. And like, that was the first time I'd ever been to the Houston store. I had kind of asked Heather, because Heather had gone to the Houston store, in 2019. Her son had, who has visual differences. He's not blind. He is visually impaired, but he's not blind. But he's kind of headed that way. Anyways, for the School of the Blind in North Dakota, he had won a scholarship to NASA Space Camp in Houston. So he had won the scholarship. So she had flown down with her son to go to the space camp. And she went in the summer, and I believe she went on like a Thursday night. And she said it wasn't busy when she went either. And this was in the middle of summer. Am I going to have enough water to finish this? I have a bottle of water sitting over there I guess I can use if I need to. But she said when she went, it wasn't that busy either. I mean, obviously she went because she was so close. I was a little disappointed because we were going to go down to Houston to meet her. And the timing was just kind of sucky. I wanted to go down to the Houston store. She wanted to go to the Houston store. She did not have a car. Now, the other child that won the scholarship, her dad went down with her. And the girl that won the scholarship as well was actually Heather's son's girlfriend. And her dad went down with her. Heather went with her son, and then his girlfriend's dad went with her. So he apparently rented a car and was able to take her to the American Girl store. That's how she was able to go. But it was just, for those that have never been to Houston, Houston traffic's horrible. I hate Dallas traffic, but give me Dallas traffic any day over Houston traffic. Excuse me, guys. I've only been to Houston a couple times, but I'm not a fan of Houston's traffic. And I know the traffic, and the first time when we went down there, we went to NASA, which they were staying at a hotel across the street from NASA. So that's why Heather never rented a car, because she didn't need one, because they literally would get up in the morning and walk across the street for him to go to the camp for the day. The hotel had a continental breakfast, and so they'd eat breakfast there. And then NASA actually has almost like a deli place to eat. You can get like you can bring in food, but you can get like sandwiches and stuff like that there. I wouldn't necessarily call it kind of a cafeteria. That's the word I'm looking for. So they have like a little cafeteria there. I've been to the Houston NASA, so that's how we know. We didn't eat there because my father-in-law, we went with my in-laws, and my father-in-law wanted to go eat at this cool fish place on the bay, or on the Gulf, not the bay, in the Gulf, off of a boardwalk. So we got to sit out and see the Gulf while we ate. And this fish restaurant has huge fish aquariums inside it with different tropical fish and fish from the Gulf. But anyways, so Heather felt she didn't need to rent a car. And that was fine. The plan was to drive up there or drive down there and go have supper with Heather because her son had camp from, I think it was like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, like I said, Houston traffic is not that great. The American Girl store closed at, I think it was 6 or 7 p.m. So I knew we wouldn't be able to eat there. But there is a cheesecake factory in the mall, like almost right next to American Girl. Like American Girl in the Houston Mall has its own entrance, and then it has like the mall entrance. And right next to it almost in there's a cheesecake factory that has its own entrance. So we had talked about, you know, going to the American Girl store, shopping, and then going and eating at Cheesecake Factory, which, like, we were all getting kind of excited about. I hadn't seen Heather in a few years. So, I mean, I was all happy and excited and whatnot about it. But then she kind of sprung on me last minute. Oh, by the way, he does not get done with not band camp. He does not get done with space camp until 4 o'clock. And I'm thinking, okay, the American Girl store closes at, I think it closed at 6. And like, even if we're there before 4 o'clock, we get there before 4, he's ready at 4 to go. It's going to take at least an hour to get from the the Houston Space Center to the American Girl store, because I Google mapped it, and when I Google mapped it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so obviously traffic is slower. So I'm thinking it's gonna, and I talked to people, I'm like, okay, this is the mall that it's in, because my sister-in-law is actually from the Houston area. I'm like, she's been to the Space Center a few times, she knew what mall the American Girl store was in. And I said, so how long do you think it's going to take in 5 o'clock traffic, because we will be picking them up at 4 o'clock. And she's like, you're looking at an hour and a half, 2 hours. And so I'm thinking, okay, we're going to basically get to the American Girl store just as they close. Or just before they close. It's not going to be very enjoyable because, like I said, all of a sudden she kind of sprung on me, oh, by the way, because I assumed when her and I were talking about it, she was planning, her and her son were just going to take an Uber to meet us. And so that's what I was kind of assuming, that they were just going to take this Uber to come meet us. Okay, guys, the reason why I'm not respraying this is because her hair is still wet over here. I really soaked it. So I assumed they were going to take an Uber to come meet us. Like I said, kind of last minute, she's like, oh, by the way, you're going to have to come pick us up. Which, I mean, this may be wrong on my part, in all honesty. Would have been fine had she said, hey, I'll pay for the gas money. Because I pointed out to her, for us, it was easier to come into Houston, meet her at the mall, eat supper, she go back to the Space Center, and then we can just leave from the mall. Because the Space Center is in South Houston, and the mall is like middle, almost, kind of downtownish Houston, in that area-ish. Not fully, but kind of. So when she kind of sprung that on me, I knew, and like I said, she never offered to cover the gas difference, let alone the time. Because I don't drive in big cities, so it would have been my husband driving. We would have gone down on my husband's day off, because my husband doesn't have typical days off. He doesn't have a Monday through Friday job. And so he would be taking his day off. we would be having to leave here probably around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to drive down there. Actually, we need to leave here at like noon, 1 o'clock to drive down there and make sure we were there by 4. Then we would have to drive an hour and a half. Sorry guys, it cut off. So, as I was saying, I understood his frustration with the whole situation, as well as this was all supposed to take part on a Tuesday, and that weekend was Father's Day weekend, and we had plans to, and we did go, we had plans to go to Dallas with my husband's mother. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out how her hair is in here. We had plans to go to Dallas with my husband's mother, brother, sister-in-law. We were taking a family trip, and niece. And then my sister-in-law's brother and nieces, because they were down from Alaska, where they live. So we had plans to go on this trip with family that we had already paid for, and it was a pretty decent expense. That was, we did the City Pass thing in Dallas. I wanted to go to the American Girl store, 'cause come to find out we weren't far away from it. We never made it there on that trip, but we went to the JFK Book Depository. We went to the zoo. We went to the Reunion Tower, the Geodeck. So we did do some stuff while we were there. We were supposed to go to the, I think it was a science museum, which we never made it there. Actually, we made it there, but they closed early because there was a wedding. I think her hair is a curl to it, but this is as good as it's going to get. Her hair is supposed to have a fishtail, and it went straight there. So I'm going to have to redo this. But, so anyways, I digress talking about the stores and where I'm going to get to where I was eventually, or going to go anyways. So Heather said when they went, it wasn't busy. So they went, it wasn't busy. We eventually went to the Dallas store in 2019 in November. It was the week of Thanksgiving, when my mother had come down for Thanksgiving. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure this out. My mother had come down for Thanksgiving, and so we decided to go to the Dallas American Girl store because we had never been there. This is going to be as good as it gets for her hair. Why is there... So let's do it that way. We were going to do that, and then of course I don't have another hair tie. We were gonna go, or we went to the Dallas store, and we went over Thanksgiving. So, or it was Thanksgiving break week, and it was busy then. We went a few weeks after I think it was the week after they opened post-COVID closures. They were busy then. We went again in August. It was busy then. And then we went again for launch. And once again, it was busy. So the American Girl Dallas store, the 4 times we've gone, it's been busy. So out of the 2 stores, like I said, I've only been to Houston once. and it was not busy. Heather went to Houston once and said it was not busy. So if out of the stores, if one of the Houston or Texas ones closes, I have a feeling it's going to be Houston before Dallas. And then, let's see, I might have another hair thing. Then, where I was going with that, with the whole hair thing is, obviously, if the stores close, that means the salons close. And that's where people are kind of getting frustrated, is because to send a doll to the doll hospital now, you used to have to pay shipping to and from the store. Or not the store. If you took a doll to the American Girl store to send to the doll hospital, you just pay for everything in the store and they would ship it off. When we took all those dolls that needed their warranty thing for the eyes, I didn't have to pay anything. It was all sent to the store. And we took it to the store. I had forms filled out already. And then the store, in turn, sent it off to the doll hospital. And then the doll hospital sent it back. But those were for warranty things, or things that they were fixing due to the eyes. They were having eye issues at that point. So one of the plus sides is you used to be able, if you were sending a doll to the doll hospital, you used to have to pay shipping. If you're sending something into the doll hospital for warranty-wise, I believe you still have to pay shipping now. But they now have it for if you're sending a doll to the doll hospital. If you're sending a doll to the doll hospital, that... Okay, that goes out. That's where I'm... they pay shipping. So when I sent that Lainey doll to the doll hospital, I got a shipping label emailed to me that I printed off and then in turn put on my package and just had to drop it off at FedEx. Now, is what they do now. But before, I would have to go print out this form, fill out this form, put in my credit card information. Guys, this is bugging me. I do not know how to do this fishtail like they're showing it. Is there 5 pieces and that's why? I think so. I think there's a strip that goes through here. Yeah, there is. So, going back to the salon. So now they don't charge to send a doll to the doll hospital, which is great. But then my next question is, because like Crystal and I were talking about, I'm like, all these stores closing, does that mean the salon, like how is that going to work with the salon? Because I know there's plenty of people out there that either purchase a doll secondhand, or a little girl gets a doll as a gift and chooses to have her, want its ears pierced. We've done that in the past. I've got Lily secondhand, or I got Keisha secondhand and ended up getting her ears pierced. And I plan to kind of do that with Lily too. Okay, I gave up on this fishtail. I will just pay the $15 next time I go to the store and get it done. So anyways, I was going to braid it. I wanted Keisha's ears pierced. My son got Luciana's ears pierced. My daughter's gotten her doll's ears pierced. So we take them to the store and get them pierced. Granted, I know that there is the method that you can do at home. But the salon itself, everybody's like, okay, so with them closing the stores, except for the flagship stores, what if I have an Addie doll that, like in my case, I've taken my Addie doll to the American Girl store and had her Her hair looks so nice now. Had her hair restored to its original hairstyle. There was no way that I could do that hairstyle on my own. There was no way. So I paid the, I think, $15 and had her hair done back to how it's supposed to be. Just like Elizabeth here. I gave up trying to do this fishtail, so next time I go to the store, guess what? I'm paying $15 and having her hair restored to the original hairstyle. But in other cases, like where with the stores, I mean, are they going to start charging us to ship dolls to the store to have, or to the doll hospital to have their hair redone? I mean, there's lots of questions that go along with that where everybody's like, okay, what now? And so my whole thing is I get American Girl is trying to save money by like closing the stores, because if they're losing money because of the overhead of the stores and whatnot. Okay, I get that on one hand, but on the other hand is you're going to lose more business because you're losing, one, the experience. My kids, yes, they get American Girl stuff sent, or that we order online. So I order stuff online. I'm not saying that I don't. But the experience is a big thing for my kids. They love the experience of being able, and even though now post-COVID, the displays are kind of off limits, where before kids could play with the displays and such. That was part of the experience, but even now, like, my daughter can walk into the American Girl store and come in thinking, I'm going to buy this outfit, or I want this outfit, and then when she starts looking around, it's like, oh no, I don't want that outfit. I think this outfit's beautiful. I want this instead. So there's the loss of that experience. It's not the same. And like as you can see, Keisha's sitting over here in the world. Well, you really can't see. I used that wrinkle spray stuff on this dress because it was all wrinkly and it seems to work. So I was hanging it to dry. As you can see now, Keisha back here is in her World Traveler outfit, which I knew I wanted England, and I got England. I wanted, like, looking at pictures, I didn't want Japan. I thought Japan was hideous. And I was planning on getting England, then getting Ireland, and that would be good. I kind of like Paris. If I get money at some point, I might get it. I'm not 100% sure on it. But Japan was a no, and Italy was a no. Italy just does not catch my attention even after seeing it in person. But I saw Japan in person, and I'm in love. Japan is coming before, I'm going to get Japan before I get Ireland. So going to the store, I'm buying a whole nother $50 outfit that I didn't expect to get. And that was because I got to see it in person and fell in love with it. So they're going to lose the experiences by closing all these stores, as well as what are they going to do about the salon? Like, I know I'm not going to pay. Are they going to raise the prices of the salon, like, for online? Or right now, like, to get her hairstyle back to the original hairstyle and the pin curls and the fishtail ponytail, which I just did this. The fishtail and, oh my gosh. I think if I just put it up here, it would have worked. Okay, I'm just leaving it now. Anyways, to get her hair done, well, I need to pay like $30 for American Girl because now shipping has to be done, and they're going to include shipping, so I don't have to pay shipping there and back. Well, even if I paid shipping on my own, it's $15. So therefore, I'm just going to say, screw it. I'm not going to get her hair redone. Or for $45 shipped, I can get a whole new head. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I mean, it's this game of where does it end? They're going to lose revenue regardless what they do. So I know I've rambled on long enough, but this is how how you can flat iron an American Girl's hair. Her hair went from not too bad, but it was still frizzy and a lot of broken ends. There's still some, like, broken ends at the bottom. I'm fine with that. It's the upper hair. I mean, granted, like I said, her hair isn't as bad as the horse that we had. But still, I'm glad I know how to do it. I'm glad I bought that flat iron. I don't use it on my own hair. This was only bought for the doll's purchases. Or, not purchases, to do doll's hair. But I am really glad I did that. I went ahead and actually took the plunge and did that because there's a few other dolls that my daughter has that have straight hair, like Ivy, that could really use a straightening. So I think I'm going to start slowly going through my daughter's dolls and kind of fixing themselves. Lily could use a little TLC in her hair as well, as I've noticed that when you do it, their hair gets super soft. Their hair gets really soft doing it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's kind of a how-to video and kind of a chat about the stores closing. So I hope to see everyone later. Bye.